Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Virche Evermore, continuing Eve's route. And Hugo's about to have a little pity party. I love it, but I hate it. I love it because it's like, oh, Hugo, no, are you jealous because we're leaving you out? But also, like, don't make this a precursor to he's gonna be an evil psychopath. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very concerned. I'm on walking on eggshells here. Like, he looks so sad, and I just want to comfort him and be like, it's okay, sweetie, we love you anyway. We love you too. We're not ignoring you. I don't want this to be like, oh, they're ignoring me. I'll have to kill them both. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make this as villain origin stories. You know, it wouldn't be the origin story. It would just be the coming out party, and I just don't want that to happen because I love Hugo. Anyway. Huh. So they're leaving me out again, eh? I feel bad I keep forcing her to take care of my own partner like this. What? If you ask me, it looks like those two are doing just fine. Look, I can barely see their expressions from here, but they look like they're having fun. I was a bit scared when you guys told me that Death Girl was gonna come too, but... in front of Eve, she looks like any other lovely girl. Just goes to show that rumors aren't always reliable. What's this look on your face, Hugo? I'm so... Now don't get all huffy just because you're left out, former Master Hugo. And besides, can't be helped that the two of you can't work together because his cursed face scares the heck out of the horses. And now Hugo looks all mad. Hugo, are you in love with Eve? Am I stealing your boyfriend? Because I don't like that. That I'm stealing his boyfriend. That's what I don't like. I don't want to hurt Hugo like that. He deserves better. Like, Hugo looks pissed, though, that the man insulted Eve. Oh my god. Are you just, like, that bromantically involved? Like, ugh, I love it, though. Ugh, stop. My mistake. It just slipped. If you're gonna apologize, don't say a thing like that in the first place. Do you think you can say anything to the kind hero of Coen without him getting angry? I sure hope that's not what you're thinking. Wait. Bet that is what you're thinking. You and everyone in Coen, and even Eve himself. Again, really don't understand him I really don't understand him this time. Why in the world is he smiling like some goof with her around? Hugo, are you actually jealous of me? I was joking, but like, I can understand, like, you have your bromance, like, he's your best friend, you work together, you're partners, and then all of a sudden, a third party comes in and you're like, they're stealing my best friend, Mom. Mom, Timmy and I were best friends, and then Johnny came along, and now we're all... And it's like, all three of you guys can play together. You can all be best friends. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, Hugo doesn't want to share his toys. But, like... But part of me is like, are you just mad because, like, you think I'm going to steal your bestie away? Sir, you know, you're used to getting 100% of his attention, and now you're only going to get, like, 50, and that makes you sad? Or, like... You like, why is he smiling like a goof? Is he in love with her? And I thought I had a shot. Are you just... Does the bromance border onto the romance? Where's the line, and what side are you on, Hugo? Oh no. Part of me loves it. Like, oh god, Hugo, are you romantically in love with Eve? Because I love that. But then I feel bad because I don't want to hurt him like that. I can't take Eve away from him. Like, what the fuck? What a horrible witch am I? Oh, poor Hugo. Hugo's definitely jealous, though, and I don't like it. It's kind of adorable. I like it. It's kind of adorable. Like, he's like, she's stealing my friend. Like, that's kind of sweet, but I don't like it because it makes it this game. I don't like it because it's this game. If it were any other game, I'd be like, we're gonna have, like, a fight and, like, whatever, but we'll work it out. In this game, it's like, he's gonna fucking stab us, isn't he? Oh. Oh. He really is gonna be he's gonna turn into the main antagonist in this route. I don't want that. Listen, Jean just set the precedent here. To be fair, Dahut was kind of almost an antagonist inside of Cyan's route. Except for he didn't hate Cyan, but he was still like kind of self-centered when it came to Cyan getting booted out. He was like, well, like there's nothing I can do about it. I'm gonna take advantage of it. But he didn't purposefully have a hand in it, you know? It just worked to his advantage, you know? If it had never worked out that way, I don't think Dahut would have done anything about it. You know what I mean? So he wasn't really like an antagonist in the true sense, but you know, he was in that gray area. You can't really blame him for that, you know? And, well, Capucine was absolutely an antagonist in Lucas's route. And all Eve has is Hugo, so you can see why I'm very concerned. And, oh, I want you to be more like Dahut, where you're like, maybe you're a little jealous and like whatever, but it's okay, because that's a normal human emotion, so it's fine, sweetie. But please don't turn into a psycho villain. Please. Oh. Then I'm gonna have to feel bad about feeling bad all the times you died. And be like, you deserved it, bitch. And then I'm gonna feel bad that I had to say that. Because, like, I'm already wrestling internally with, like, every time Jean shows up, and I'm like, I love you. I kind of hate you, though, because I know who you are underneath. But, like, on the surface, I love you. Hugo, don't hurt me like this again. Jesus. Ugh. To be fair, I feel like the game's gonna hurt me like this. I don't know if I'm gonna be, like, proud of the game for hurting me like that, if they make Hugo, like, the main antagonist, or if I'm gonna be disappointed that they didn't do it, because I expect this game to hurt me and I come for it. I don't even know. Game makes me very confused. After washing off dirt from our clothes, we took a break over some lunch that I prepared. The farmer asked Eve whether he had spare time, then asked Eve and me to take care of his sheep for an additional fee. The sheep were scared of us at first, but it seemed like they got used to us after a few minutes of us chasing after them. After wrangling a few of them to the feeding area, the other sheep gathered naturally to the area without our help. I mean, seriously, just put food out. How were they, like, you know, not just hungry? Ew, well that was tiring. And now that they're together in the same area, I guess we can rest until something else pops up. Eve naturally took my hand as he beckoned me to sit. As if in sync with us, the sheep began to lie down as we both took a seat on the ground. This would be a cute CG. We're lacking CGs here. I'm just gonna say, game, I need you to start handing them out. The round and fluffy sheep slowly dozed off under the warm sun. This is the first time you've handled sheep. Yes, or rather, this is the first time I've touched any animal. I never knew how nice it feels to have animals being friendly and close to you. Well, they're cute, but it could be tedious. You can't imagine what I went through when they tried to eat the lycraces. I wonder if the lycraces or the curse of death affects animals. I've never heard of animals dying from the curse. Well, that's because we probably kill them long before that. Eve pondered for a moment to think about my curious thought. He's like, most animals don't live to be 20 because we eat them long before that, so I guess we wouldn't know, would we? Lycraces aside, I don't think the curse of death has any effect on the animals. I was tended to a cow that reached the end of its life, but I didn't notice any signs of the curse when it died. I see. Which meant the curse only affected humans. Again, because, like, whatever aliens put us down here to do scientific experiments on us are like, that would be mean to the animals. Let's only use it on the people. Everyone's like, yeah, good idea. That said, there were no animals here that could live longer than 23 years, so there was no way of knowing for sure. See, also that, where are your, like, you don't have macaws? You don't have any other kind of birds? Not all birds live that long, but, you know. Maybe Unko knows something about the curse, but maybe he can't talk about it either. Well, he can, but every time he does, it gets bleeped out. It gets redacted. Still, I was a bit relieved. Did you hear that, cute little sheep? It seems like you're safe. But it's dangerous to eat licorice flowers, so don't even try to eat them, even if you're hungry. And then Eve's over there like, I mean, unless you're me. Yikes! A sudden shock came from in front. A spirited lamb came jumping into me as it bleated. Unable to take the charge, I fell back lightly into the back of a large sheep. I wonder what it wants. Maybe it's trying to say you're working too hard and you should. This time, Eve was charged by a large sheep and fell backward, just like me, into the herd of sheep. Sheep are trying to cuddle. Checked to see if I was injured, but all I felt around me was. They're so soft and fluffy. The warmth and softness of the sheep made my cheeks blush red. Eve, who was also leaning on one of the sheep, laughed until his shoulders shook. I can't believe we don't get a CG of us in a sheep pile. Like, this would be adorable. You can imagine it in your head. Look at you smile. That's all the work we do here is fun, right? Yes, very much so, but is it really alright to have something so nice happen to us during work? Well, of course. I mean, if you're not having fun, what meaning is there in working at Karoon? There are practically zero opportunities to form bonds with others in this country. Everyone's focusing their efforts and doing their best every day just to lead themselves and their loved ones into the future. But this job brings in work from all over the country and from all sorts of people. What that means is you can learn whether someone grew up in the same hometown. He told me how wonderful that was. Hearing Eve made me mutter a certain word. Hometown. I kept muttering the same word over and over again without much reason. I knew what the word meant, but it was the first time I heard it being used. The reason was because everyone lamented the fact that they were born in this deathly unfortunate country. Hometown. Homeland. No one used words of affection for their country, even in casual discussions. But I want to learn more about my hometown through work at Karoon, so I can learn to love it. I mean, it is pretty sad to continue hating and denying the place you were born until you die. He told me with a smile that it was too early to be satisfied with what I knew now. I do think the work at Karoon's very nice, but I doubt I have it in me to actually love this country. No. If those I know were born in another country, they might live a life of happiness without any worry about death. Well, everybody has a worry about death at some point in their life, because, it's inevitable, but live a life of happiness without the impending thought of death lurking around the corner, TikTok when you hit 20. You know what I mean? So, yeah, sure. So I don't know if I can love this country. But I really do think what you said is nice and wonderful, Eve. If I can, I'd love to know more about the people who share my hometown, too. What I was saying was true. Seeing that I was doing my best to relay my feelings, Eve nodded and gave a big happy smile. Gave a happy smile, not a big happy smile, but still. Look at his face. Still, I'm astounded by how kind you are, even to the point of loving this country, Eve. Kind, huh? Spacey, just so you know, I'm not the good person you think I am. Huh? This is just what I found to be rewarding about working at Karoon. Not the reason why I started the business. The reason why I try and help and show my love to everyone isn't because I'm kind, but because I have an ulterior motive. What do you mean by that? I'm saying I'm not doing what I'm doing out of selflessness. The reason behind my actions is the total opposite. Which is why you shouldn't trust me. For all you know, I might try to abuse you in some way. Coming from anyone else, I'd be like, yeah, no, legit. Coming from you, I don't know if I believe that. It might be true, but I don't believe it. His warning sounded untrue. I shouldn't trust him? I shouldn't trust the person who always treated me no differently from everyone else? Judging by his expression, he isn't saying that out of humility. But if he really is deceiving me by acting nice, then he wouldn't make the effort to warn me like this. Not sure what I should say, but you're not very convincing. You're not very convincing. Like, that sounds like a load of bullshit. Trust his kindness. I mean, those are both kind of the same thing. Trust his kindness. Well, actually, not really, because trust his kindness is like, nah, I absolutely believe, but you're not really convincing me, so I'm gonna need you to give me a little more details. to convince me. Which would be like, all right, I'll trust that you're telling me not to trust you. But right? Anyway, you're not very convincing. That seems like a bag of bullshit. Because that's how I feel. He's like, I have an ulterior motive and all this stuff. And you're like, I mean, an ulterior motive for starting your business? Sure. I didn't do it just to help people. I also wanted to make money. Valid. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I don't just do this because it's fun. I do it because, like, whatever. You know, technically I do this because it's fun because I really don't make money off this channel. So, you know. But to be fair, selfishly, I do this because I enjoy it. You guys are having fun with it. And then I actually play my Otome games instead of sitting there staring at the wall. Like, I have a bunch of games I could play, but, like, I actually, like, play them more often when I'm recording them than I would otherwise. Which I think is stupid, but the way it is. Anyway. But yeah, I don't... He's the big-ass labradoodle, so again, the game will probably bitch slap me in the face, but I just think you're full of shit. Like, it's like Mathis being like, you can't trust me. I don't believe that either, unless it's your driving. I can't trust that. We know that for a fact, but... Yeah, you're not very convincing. You're not very convincing with all these sheep around you, Eve. I purposely chose not to answer him directly. I didn't want to affirm or deny what he said without knowing him better. I don't want to trust the Eve I've only just heard about over the Eve I already know in front of me. This Eve plays with sheep isn't... Oh, this Eve playing with sheep isn't someone I'm looking at as kind or good. All I can see is a happy Eve having fun. So if you want me to believe that you're not to be trusted, I'll wait until you set the mood elsewhere to prove it. Huh, you're right. Well, I shouldn't have said that after we've done... I should have said that after we've done with the work. We leisurely relaxed our bodies as we smiled among the bleating of sheep and the gentle sound of the wind. Eve disclosed to me the truth of having an ulterior motive behind his kindness. It wasn't until some time later that I learned what he meant. I found out a few hours later. After receiving our money for the work, 3 of us walked together through the town, reddened by the setting sun. So what now? We got some money on us, so how about we grab something to drink at the bar? And then let's bring Adolphe with us too. We haven't had a chance to go out with him for some food recently. What about Spacey? Since you don't drink, maybe we should go back and check the work order records instead. I was thinking about reading through them, but I don't want to get in the way of your well-earned drinks, so I'll just look through the records tomorrow. You like, I could just go back on my own. A casual conversation among the 3 of us. It wouldn't be unusual if it didn't include the hated Death and the trusted Karoon. I could tell the people were looking at us, but Eve kept chatting with me, so their stares didn't bother me much. We chuckled and smiled as we made our way through the crowd when my bird is downstairs screaming non-fucking stop. I want to goddamn fucking choke him. Swear to fucking God, he's being a little fucking cunt. Jesus goddamn Christ. Didn't want to come upstairs with me, but he has done nothing for the last 5 minutes but make the most god-awful screaming noise that makes me want to frickin' choke him to death. I love him, but I hate that motherfucking noise. It's like a trigger. It's like a baby crying. It just makes me want to yeet him. Like, God, I hate it. And I want to scream and tell him to shut his goddamn little fucking mouth. But then that's responding to him, and then he'll keep doing it. So I'm trying so hard to ignore him. And I'm like, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna fucking kill him. Gonna fucking kill him. We chuckled and smiled as we made our way through the crowd when... I'm gonna scream over him. That's right, Eve. Yesterday when I was checking your place, I saw that you're running out of anesthetic, so... Huh? A dull and sticky sound much different from water could be heard. I realized that it sounded eerily similar to a sound I heard only recently. Blood. Oh, thanks for the sound effects game. I looked at Eve's foot. Beneath him was a bright red pool of blood. Someone from behind him had stabbed him with a knife. I'm sorry, what now? I figured, like, oh, we're pool, like, blood leaking out from an alley, but someone just stabbed Eve? The moment I understood the situation, the blood drained from my face even faster than the person who was stabbed. Eve! I finally did it! Take that, you piece of shit! Just let that death next to you take you to hell! A young man stabbed Eve in the arm and was now holding the bloody knife with both hands. He stabbed him in the arm? Well, that's a stupid place to stab someone if you're trying to kill him. You! How dare you do that to my partner! And his boyfriend. Eve! As I cried out, Hugo reached out to grab the man who was turning to run away. But Hugo didn't make it in time. Knowing that he could get away, the attacker looked back at us and smiled eerily as he ran through the crowd. Then... Hey, that wasn't nice. I don't know why you did this to me, but... He slowly drew his sword out despite his arm being injured. The man only stabbed him in the arm. Like, dude, like, you are stupid. This man, like, is dumb. Since you've harmed me, I need you to explain why you did this at our base, okay? He threw not his sword, but the scabbard straight at the young man. Ah! The scabbard flew through the crowd and struck the head of the young man who had let his guard down. Here's the thing, the dude's running away, but everybody in town loves Eve, so you think somebody would have just, like, tripped the dude, and, like, 6 people would have dogpiled on him and been like, how fucking dare you? He swayed for a moment, and just before he fell to the ground... Oh, been a while since I've been out. You've put on an interesting sideshow, haven't you, Karun? I am so happy that Science... I love you, Eve, but Cyan will always fucking top everyone. Jesus Christ, I love this goddamn bastard so much. What? Who the hell are... The man who appeared in front of the culprit mercilessly kicked him in the stomach. Cyan's like, you were after this guy? Can I kick him? Cyan, that's a little fucked up, but I'm here for it. He didn't end it there. He stomped on the young man's chest with his thick-soled shoe, hitting him to the ground. The young man's ribs creaked and he struggled to breathe. The white lab coat swept the air as he turned toward us. Been a while, Karun and Maiden of Death. Good to see you two as spirited as ever. Cyan? You idiot. Don't yell my name out in public. I'm sorry, but... You said you ran to leave Cernival, so what brings you out here? And also, he's just there, and he's like, don't fucking say my name. People will know who I am. I love the fact, though, that, like, it's because their technology is so fucking bonkers. We can create clone bodies and shit. We have cars. We don't know what telephones are. Puzzles are, like, mind-blowing. Also, no one has any idea what Cyan looks like, despite the fact that he is literally the oldest person in this fucking country. No one also knows what the royal family looks like, to be fair. We've kind of made that clear. Like, the royal family, nobody knows what they look like. Cyan could be the goddamn king, for all we know. We know he's not, because they would have brought that up, but, like... Hugo could be the goddamn king, for all we know. We don't know shit! They're like, they hide. They're like, we do Proclam, we put things out, and like, there's drawings, but like, there's never been a drawing anywhere. Nobody's made a sketch of Cyan's face, ever. There's like the banhammer on anybody knowing. So like, he's walking around and everyone's like, oh, that's some researcher guy. Nobody knows who he is. It's literally the most important fucking man in this tiny little disc we live on. And nobody knows what he looks like. I don't know what's weirder, that or they don't know what puzzles are. I'm not really sure. Anyway. Oh, God. Eve asked as he held his wound. I had things to do, that's all. Anyway, I believe you should be questioning someone else first. Damn it, let me go! I didn't do anything wrong! Cyan pointed to the man under his foot, struggling to free himself. Fortunately, Eve's wound was under control. Especially because the man just stabbed him in the arm. Like, come on, guys, stab him in the spine at least. Could have severed a vertebrae or something. We took the man into custody where the Corps were waiting. Somewhere in the back might have hit an organ, like a kidney or some shit. I'm just saying, like, God, guy, you suck at this. Upon our arrival, I quickly tended to Eve's wound. Only through the roof and now this. It seems like you have a knack for covering yourself in blood. Oh,
think I get hurt like this too often, do I?
Actually, I can vouch that you've gotten yourself injured in front of me countless times. Adolphe and the others were waiting at the base. Cyan also came with us to pass the time, and they all surrounded the culprit so that he couldn't escape. Damn it! If only I stabbed him deeper! In the arm? Again, dude, what were you doing? You suck at this! Only now we finally saw the culprit up front before our very eyes. As for his identity, Eve had no idea what his name or background was. But I vaguely remembered his face and his voice from a while back. Isn't he... You and me, we were so in love just a few days ago! You're such a nuisance! Let me go! I remember we were in love, but right now I feel no sense of love towards you whatsoever. You chose to be the grantor of the pledge knowing this could happen, right? But... I'm sorry, but I found someone new. Someone I'm going to marry. I hope you can find your own happiness. It shouldn't be hard, since if you become a reliver like me, you'll forget whatever emotions you felt toward me. But... It was him. The man whose lover broke up with him after losing all feelings for him. Eve looked confused, probably because he remembered him from before, too. But it didn't explain why this man, who had no relation to Eve, attacked him out in the open. Maybe... I recalled something very ominous back then and carefully began to speak. Don't tell me... Is that someone new she said before? Is that Eve? Huh? Huh? Hugo's like, now I got two bitches I gotta fight for his affections for! Over. The man's vexed groan was proof that what I said was true. So... she left her boyfriend for Eve, but Eve has no fucking clue? He's like, who? What? I don't... Huh? Funny. Everyone around us began to whisper to each other over the unbelievable revelation. Is he the ladies? Are you the whore? Are you actually the whore in the game? We thought it would be Cyan. Are you the one that, if you got a reliver mark, would be a tramp stamp? Oh my god, Eve, I never saw that coming. That's amazing. I know that's not where they're going, but it'd still be pretty fucking funny.
That's the only reason I started Garoon. I just figured I could fuck everyone's wives, girlfriends, mothers, you know, that shit.
It's just a way to spread it around the country. I'm sorry, but that would be a twist that would be fucking hilarious.
Oh, I guess you do have it in you to fool around with girls despite your innocent looks. Stop messing with me, Cyan. I probably just made a mistake. I only saw her back then, nothing more. I've never spoken with her before or have any reason to be in a relationship with her.
He hasn't been drinking lately either, so there's no chance he did anything while he was drunk. I mean, he is a sloppy drunk. Not as sloppy as Cyan, but... But direct contact isn't the only thing that inspires love, right? Oh, I see what you're trying to get at. Yeah, she fell in love at first sight! I mean, can you blame her, though? Kind of fell in love at first sight with Cyan. And, like, here we are. As much as I love everybody else, Cyan's still, like... He shows up in a room and I'm like, I can't stop my eyes. Seems like she fell in love with him after she became a reliverant, so I'm smiling and being nice to everyone. Can't blame her for that either.
Love at first sight.
Ugh. Adolphe's groan is just funny. He's like, ugh, Jesus. It's either in the, oh god, this is so dumb, or like, oh, Jesus Christ. Damn you and your angelic nonsense. Figured as much. Everyone is just fed up with Eve over this. Adolphe's over here like, ugh, this again. And Hugo's like, yeah, it's because look at you, you're like a fucking angel. And we're like, yeah, I kind of figured. She probably just saw you smile and like... Why is that so charmingly adorable and ridiculous? God, I love it. Oh my god.
A waste of time.
Eve was confused by words he didn't hear often, while Cyan now looked bored. He was into it when he was like, wait, you're a man whore? Tell me more. In turn, Adolphe, who kept seeing people confess their love to mother at first sight, understood and let out a heavy sigh. Adolphe is so over everything. It's so great. But that doesn't give you a reason to hate Eve. He has nothing to do with you and her. He didn't even know she had any feelings for him. Because even if she told him, he's clueless. He's not the brightest Gran. He's smart, but also stupid. You know what I mean? So you tried to kill my partner over some lousy reason like that? Hugo angrily grabbed the man by the collar and gave him a good shake. Yeah, see, Hugo didn't lose his emotions. He might be unstable right now. Like, I'm starting to see a little bit of instability in Hugo in this route. Lousy? I worked day and night so that I could be with her forever! Are you stupid? Then why'd you make her a reliver? It says right on the pledge that all emotions of love will disappear. Shut up! I thought love would overcome an obstacle like that! So I can't wait for Cyan to say. I really want Cyan to pitch in here. Here we go.
I'd never accept a glitch like that happening to any relivers I create.
I love this game so much. So much fucking bonkers weird shit. Oh my god, and everybody's responses to shit are just so good. Like, and the comedy gold here, it's just... For the fact that it's a trauma train, I don't... They balance it so well. Goddamn. The area was in chaos. The man squirmed and yelled at Eve, who was quietly listening on. Ha! Cute smile, she said. I bet you just have that on as a front. I heard rumors about you. You have a hideous burn that death gave you under that mask of yours. So? That doesn't make him any less pretty? I bet it must look disgusting. The girl would have lost interest in you as soon as she saw your true face. I could hardly breathe. I mean, that's why he wears the mask, but like, did the woman not see the mask and like assume he was, did she just figure it was there for fashion? Had to know, you know? Eve looked on without a word. Everyone who met him for the first time slowly lost interest in his character after learning how good he was. Oh. Ouch! He's already suffered enough burns, game. Jesus! Didn't have to go for another one. Oh, they gave him an emotional one this time. Oh, slowly lost interest in his character after learning how good he was. Because they're like, oh, he's dark and mysterious, and he's got like a mask, and then they're like, oh, he's just a labradoodle. Okay, never mind, I'm bored. Oh, stop it! The mask that covered part of his face was as familiar to him as his real face, and behind it was proof of the sins I carved into him. Apart from the child at the orphanage who recently tried to take it off, this was the first time I had seen someone point it out. Would you shut up for 2 damn seconds? Hugo clenched his fist with rage. Hugo is like so defending his boyfriend. I love it. Stop, Hugo! But Adolphe's warning was too late. Hugo's fist was raised into the air and quickly moved to strike the man.
Oh, well, I guess it can't be helped if you have a reason like that.
The fist never reached him. The dripping sound of blood was clear. Hugo stopped his swing midair as if his arm got tangled in a net. Silence filled the area. All that could be heard was the soft dripping of blood that the bandages couldn't hold, accompanied by Eve's smile. Why is he still gushing blood? Everyone's eyes were now focused on Eve. Eve disregarded the chaos and the bad mood in the air. He crouched down in front of the man on the floor and looked him in the eye. He smiled with his usual warmth. Now this is getting a little spooky. Now I believe that maybe you're not as sunshine and rainbows, because you're like, oh well, as long as you had a good reason. And everyone's like, wait, what? Oh shit. Oh no, this is gonna get dark. He wasn't frightened at all of the man who stabbed him. Eve looked on from behind his mask. The man who had been cursing him a few moments ago suddenly trembled with fear, looking at Eve's eyes. See, it's when they're smiling and happy, but there's death in their eyes. That's terrifying. That's more terrifying than Hugo being mad. But fuck. Ooh.
What you're basically saying is that you attacked me because you love her that much, right? You're a very faithful person. I have no intention of criticizing you. Actually, I admire the depth of your love.
What? One drop at a time. His blood dropped at a steady pace. No regard to the man going pale in fear, Eve nodded as if he was satisfied. Yeah, because the guy's like, I expect somebody to hit me. I don't expect this. I'm scared. In the next moment, his expression grew stern.
That said, that doesn't give you a reason to hurt anyone. It's nice to believe in miracles, but it's not right to blame someone when you weren't prepared for the obvious repercussions. You're lucky you went after me this time, but have you considered the possibility that if you become a reliver before her, she would have been in your position?
He shook his head reluctantly. You apologize for taking her away from me.
Oh, well, I feel bad about what you went through, but I don't think I'm gonna apologize. Your wish was to get your love back, not the pity of those around you, right?
Hearing Eve's reply, the man quickly went limp, so Hugo, who had pinned him to the floor, let him go. The man let out a weak chuckle in dismay and sat himself up on the ground. Could only look on in a stupor. Eve didn't blame the man who struck him, and instead forgave him for all he had done. Each word from Eve was truly kind, but you're so kind it's scary. I feel like I can never get through to you, like I'm speaking to some strange creature. Eve laughed and said he'd heard it before.
Please come by Karoon once you cool off in jail. We can think about how we can get your sweetheart to fall for you again.
This time the man chuckled at the offer coming from the one he injured. Take him away, Hugo. The victim himself won't report him, so leave a record that 2 days behind bars is enough. Shh. Hugo's gonna be like, he needs a month. Hugo reluctantly pulled the man by the arm and took him to the detention room. The others snapped back to their senses, and after making sure Eve was okay, they each returned to their posts. Eve, you're still bleeding. I mean, he sounds like he's pouring blood, the sound effects they have. I hurried toward him, seeing that the blood was continuing to spread.
That was only a while ago I broke the roof, and now this.
Eve, Lucas isn't going to be happy if he... Oh, sorry, that was not me saying that.
Lucas isn't going to be happy if he finds out I spilled blood in the church.
Eve! He gave an uneasy laugh, and I stopped him from saying anything more. First, we need to bandage you again. You can laugh all you want after we take care of you. We don't want it to leave a scar. He gave me his thanks, but his expression didn't seem to match. Oh, he looks mad at me. So funny, he's like, we don't want it to leave a scar, and he's like the one on my face?
Are you sure? Do you still want to take care of my wound after I hurt him like that?
Of course. In this case, you did nothing wrong, Eve.
Leave him be, Maiden of Death. No matter how strong of a front he puts on, he'll end up in bed sooner or later.
Cyan? Cyan picked up the knife that was confiscated from the man.
And just as I thought, and this knife has a very small trace of poison on the blade. And that would explain why you're bleeding so badly despite the small wound.
And why he only sliced you in the arm and then ran away instead of actually stabbing you if he wanted you to die. A stroke down the blade. Cyan carefully ran his finger down the flat side of the knife's blade, then chuckled.
It's been a while since he was cut by this, so I think he'll lose consciousness shortly. And you should be happy that you can tend to him without all that talking.
Huh? Upon hearing Cyan's words, I quickly turned around and, like a wave quickly striking the shore, Eve suddenly went completely pale in the face, and then... Eve! What now? Hey, not again! The brainiac scientist better not have done anything to him.
You really are interesting. Not knowing you were poisoned until the last minute.
Without anyone to prop him up, Eve slowly fell to the floor. Cyan finds that funny. So fucked up. Later, we moved to bed into Eve's house with the help of Adolphe and the others who came to help. We moved a bed into his... Does he not have a bed in his house? I was allowed to stay with Hugo to keep watch over Eve for the night. Adolphe reluctantly returned to the base to prepare for his patrol shift. Adolphe's like, I'm leaving you with these two dudes. Like, and this, looks perfectly fine, like there's a bed already there. Like, we moved a bed to Eve's... Like, did you move another one? Like, we brought a second one so that I had someplace to sleep because I didn't have a guest room. You know what I mean? But, like, that just seems odd. Odd choice. Anyway.
I did say it was poison, but it's actually just a simple blend of medicine from the market. The virulence of the poison is laughable. And since we've administered the proper treatment, there's no danger of him dying.
With his white lab coat donned, Cyan was standing next to the sleeping Eve and quietly gave his diagnosis. That's good to hear. Thank you very much for helping us, Cyan. I'll give you my thanks, I guess, but sure are different from what I heard from Eve and Adolphe. I thought you weren't the type to offer help. So why are you really doing this, Mr. Genius Scientist?
It's simply a personal matter. Besides, I don't recall having paid for the capture of Boro. Of course, I do plan on asking him a question or two in return for my service. But I doubt I can get what I want now. Asking you two is a waste of time, so I'll come back another day for the answer. Farewell, Maiden of Death. The only thing I ask of you is not to reap the life of this interesting creature.
Understood. Cyan spoke in a tone that even I could tell was joking, then left Karun immediately afterward. Because of Cyan, we were able to avoid the worst, but the poison still did get into Eve, which was keeping his fever rather high. I squeezed a towel wet with cold water and looked at Eve's red face as he slept. Here's the thing. You know he's got his... in this situation, in reality, you wouldn't leave his mask on. But, like... You know what I mean? But at the same time... That's like crossing a line that I don't know if we're... You know what I... Like... You're like... reality, you'd be like, listen, I had to because... You know, you had a fever, we were trying to take care of you and whatever. But it is crossing a line, taking off someone's mask if they want to hide their scars or whatever, you know? But he did drink some medicine, so his fever should go down by tomorrow, but like I said before, this guy's so nice that he can be just plain stupid. No. Oh, that's... No. Now, maybe replacing the word stupid with abnormal fits him better. Either way, I think I can understand what you mean now, Hugo. But sometimes he's a little stupid. And it's the innocent, naive, dense kind of stupid, like, huh? Somebody's girlfriend liked me? Alright, whatever. Like, doesn't just like, and everybody else is like, oh god, everyone's all in love with him, and he's like, huh? Anyway, like, you know, a little dense. But definitely abnormal, Hugo. I agree with you. Hugo prepared more towels for Eve while telling me his thoughts. Hearing him finally made me realize he was a person who's able to accept both the good and bad in people and love everything as a whole. Yeah, in other words, the personification of benevolence. Benevolence, a charitable desire to do good for others. He seems normal, but he isn't someone who can just be described as a kind person. He found meaning in life by saving and loving every person. His kindness even extended to villains, and depending on their reasons and beliefs, he can acknowledge and accept them. If he was some peace lover who only saw things in a good light, then a stern scolding from me would take care of everything. But Eve knows where to draw the line. He knows when to give up, so even if he acts weird, I can't really stop him. The more abnormal he is, the more he saves those around him. Abnormal definitely explains the eating the lycra flowers.
If it were up to me, I'd rather ask him why he's doing this, but it doesn't seem like he'd be willing to listen. I can understand that much. We'll beat him to a pulp, tie him up, then confirm his identity and motives afterward. Don't worry, I won't outright condemn you for what you've done, no matter the reason. I'll take my time and hear you out for as long as it takes. In turn, afterward, please apologize to those you've killed, as well as to that young man.
Just like how Eve faced Boro back then. I heard from Adolphe, who fought with him, that Eve said it with an endearing smile. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Is he really just a labradoodle? Or is he just, like, even more dark, twisted, and fucked up than anybody else? Like, you know? Because, I mean, like, Lucas is, like, sweet and soft and little angel boy, but he's stabby murderer, but also stabby murderer because I think I'm doing the right thing. I'm also trying to help my sister. I've been conned into it. Also been brainwashed into it. So, like, you know, it's only partially his own fault. He said that Boro needed to repent for what he had done, but he still respected him as a person and tried to show him love. Which was why he said he could love me even though I was death. And as unreasonable as it was for that man to attack Eve, Eve didn't blame him at all. It went beyond the definition of kindness. It's slight insanity. It was also different from love, too. I agreed with what he said, but I still didn't fully understand him, so I continued to listen. His abnormal way of life can be seen when he's working at Karun or the Corps. Some keep their distance from him, which doesn't help with the mood. Oh, no. I suppose his way of thinking isn't normal, but he's doing things because he cares, so it's not fair that people hate him for... You know you're the cause, right? Huh? I'm gonna step outside. Remembering what that guy said today is starting to piss me off again. Hugo entrusted me with Eve and quietly left the room. What was Hugo going to say? His voice had been too quiet for me to hear. Has Eve been in love with me his whole life, just like Lucas has? Because, like, damn. Because Adolphe kind of was too, because we were, like, siblings, sort of, kind of grown up, so... I'm just saying. Eve and I were the only ones in the room. The bowl filled with water was reflecting the beautiful crescent moon that peeked through the window. But the master of this room was in no state to see the moon in the bowl or the actual one in the sky. Not sweating as much anymore, but he still looks like he's in pain. Maybe the fever was acting up again. I wet the towel that was on his forehead so that it could be placed back on to cool him, but I don't think it's working very well because his mask is in the way. Hugo and the others carried Eve to the bed without any concern about him having his mask on, which meant, unless there was an emergency, he probably didn't want to take his mask off. At least that I could tell. If so, then I can't take the mask off his face, even if I'm trying to take care of him. See, it's one of those, like, in reality you probably would, because it's getting in the way, I've got to take care of him, but at the same time it's a line that really should you cross. So, like, I absolutely understand the, like, I should but shouldn't, but fuck. But you're also not a doctor. If you were a doctor, you'd be like, I'm a doctor, it's in my way. But you're not, so, like, you're just crossing a line. You know? Without a PhD to back it up. But, like, so, then I could at least try to wipe the sweat around his mask. Eve's eyes, closed from the pain, suddenly opened wide. He quickly grabbed my hand that was near his face. For a moment, Eve's eyes wandered a bit as he panted in pain. And then, like... See, at least when you have your hair pulled back in your little ponytail, it doesn't get the mullet look. Just gonna need you to put that back. I don't know why they always do this. It's kind of like a mullet fish. Slightly mullety. It's not as bad. It could be worse. It could be worse, but it still looks a little ridiculous. Eve? Is there a problem? I hesitantly spoke Eve's name, at which point he let go of my arm.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna take my mask off. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Please just stay still and rest. He probably didn't have the strength to fight right now as he complied and relaxed on the bed. It's kind of like he's totally in and out, and then the second this mask you're anywhere near, he's like, Ba-ching! Don't do it! Like, fuck, man. You got some radar going on. I offered him a lullaby to help him go back to sleep. Hugo told me you're able to love anyone, no matter who they are, Eve. So I have to ask, why are you so kind, even to someone as sinful as death?
You got it wrong. I'm not kind at all. I'm trying to be kind. I'm doing that because I'm trying to find someone who'll love me for who I am.
No, we already do. I'm just really curious as to what you're actually hiding underneath, but it's okay. We could love Lucas, and he stabs people, so he put me in a cage. That was actually a bonus. That was a plus. And we love Cyan, and he's kind of a monster. But, like, whatever. Lucas is also a monster. And Mathis is just not a real boy. And Jean's kind of the monster, so Mathis is innocent. It's, whatever. I'm just saying. Like, every 99 problems, and I'm here for all of them. Eve gently touched the mask that even he wouldn't remove. The reason why Eve showed so much love was because of the burn I inflicted upon him. Well, that's awful! And that's actually even worse that people are that superficial. You're gonna die, bitch! You ain't got time to be picky. And also, Eve is adorable and precious, and just because he has just because he has a scar that's, might have marred his perfect little face, doesn't make him, unbeautiful. You know what I mean? It's like, no. Jesus Christ. God damn. What are you trying to teach people? If you have any flaws, go fuck yourself. You're not worth. Jesus, game. That's a really bad message to send. Horrible message. Take it back. We don't want that. That's actually how legitimately you do feel. That's how society makes you feel, though. I have a flaw. I have a freckle. I'm horrible. I'm a monster. No, it's okay. Seriously. This game, though, was seriously sending you the worst messages. Like, oh my god, you're 23, you're so fucking old, you're basically dead. No, you're dead now. You're basically dead. Ew. And oh, you have a flaw? Ew, no one's ever gonna love you. Not a good game for moral messages, Jesus. Oh. It was easy to tell just by looking at his actions, which was why, Eve, after living with you for some time now, I've come to know both good and bad sides of you. Still curious where the bad side of him is, aside from him being just a little too goddamn nice like a labradoodle. At the same time, I've also told you everything about myself that I could. So if you don't mind, can I please ask about your past? How is the burn I caused you related to your kindness? Please tell me. He looked at me with gentle eyes.
I see. You're brave, aren't you? I just know that my past will probably hurt you deeply. Do you still want to hear it?
After a short pause, I nodded in response. Are you the one that set the fire? Memories of that horrific day returned. Or I saved you and then everyone shunned me because whatever, and it's I mean, you could see that you saved that death girl, you should have let her die, you freak. But that I would almost understand more than oh, he's got a scar, he's a monster. What the fuck? It's still what the I mean, people in this country are what the fuck, so. Still screaming and whining down. No! I don't know who's screaming that. It's probably him. Aww. Ah!
Who are you? Why are you? No! Don't give up!
Aww.
Ah! Hot. So hot! Someone! Anyone! Help me! No! Please! Please! Save her!
Oh, look. Oh, and they have the fire effects. We're getting that CG flashback in case. We had it from the beginning. It's the same one, but 7 years ago, the young boy who risked his life to save me from the fire, whose face was burned from the flames. That was you, right, Eve?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's true. I forgot. I forgot to give him, baby voice. Giving him normal voice. It's like I forgot for a hot second that he had this. Well, anyway.
I actually remember that day very clearly.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was a very traumatic day, so yeah. Well, he forgot everything else, so. Eve closed his eyes and began to speak as if telling me about a dream. A dream filled with flames. Ooh.
I was born as a commoner in Coen. Aside from the fact that my family had some odd customs and traditions, I was raised in a family like any other.
Odd customs and traditions, like eating the lycra flowers?
The grandfather I adored was already gone back then, while my parents, who were both relivers, were doing fine.
Was already gone back, I guess, before, like 7 years ago. Okay.
I couldn't put it in any other way than my life was pretty good. And that night I visited the orphanage to play with one of the boys I met by chance in town. I had no idea where that fire started. I was staying in my friend's room when suddenly I heard a huge explosion, and in the next moment, my body was blown back, and I lost consciousness for a moment from the pain of slamming against the wall. It must have been 10 minutes or so. The growing heat woke me up, and by then,
So he was just staying. He was like staying over at the orphanage. So he didn't actually live here. Okay.
a lot of the kids and staff were dead, either from the fire or the rubble that fell on them. Ah! I was screaming in fear at the sight before my eyes, but I ran through the flames in the hopes of finding my friend or any other survivors. Is anyone here?
How do I do the kid voice again?
If there's anyone alive, please say something. It was then I heard someone.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All my fault. Because I'm here.
Inside that miserable room filled with red and black flames, being buried by debris. I looked inside to find a girl in the corner of the room, apologizing endlessly. I had no idea why she was crying like that, and her voice was so filled with grief and despair. Is she planning on burning herself to death? I couldn't believe how calm I was. Lying here, crying and blaming herself. Dying like this? That's just too sad. Before I knew it, I ran towards you to shield you from the flames closing in. From here onward, you may not be able to recall these memories. I somehow endured the flames and carried you outside on my back, but by then a third of my face had been burned. Seemed that the burns I sustained were different from any other burn.
Ah, a monster!
Everyone who saw my face screamed at how hideous I looked and wouldn't even come near me.
This is a child that got burned by flames. Come the fuck on. This is a small. This is just. These people are the worst. All right, I'm just going to say it. All right, I'm going to say it because I think we're all thinking of it. 99% of the people in this country deserve to fucking die from whatever plague they fucking have. This is literally hell. This is like this is what you deserve. You all suck and that's why you're here. This is like your fucking purgatory. You sucked so much, you got stuck here, just doomed to repeat this until you actually become a better person. And then you actually, then you get to move on and you get to go into another life or to heaven. But this is purgatory. You're just doomed to repeat this bullshit over and over because you suck till you learn how to be better. This is the good place. Okay? It is literally what you fuckers are. You don't deserve anything. You all suck. Not all, okay? That's why I say 99%. Because we met 1% people are actually kind of decent. They all suck a little underneath. You know? We don't really suck. But like, you know. Like, Lucas, you want to forgive, but I mean, he does kind of suck a little. He murders people. He kind of sucks a little. You know what I mean? That's why Nadia was gonna die peacefully, and she wasn't gonna become a reliver because she is innocent and she was just gonna go off and live or get actually reborn in the real world. Whatever kind of hell purgatory bullshit this thing is. Because everyone here sucks. We all suck in some way. We're just, some of us are learning to be better and we'll get over it. And like, I love our little 1% group, but they all kind of suck in some way. Look at our mom. Look at Salome. I'm like, oh, she's nice. She did stab us that one time, so she's a little psycho inside too. I mean, all of us have a little bit of crazy inside of us, so, you know, whatever. But, like, our little group that we've met, the people that we like, our characters and our side characters. Like, hell, I'll give fucking Jean Mille over here a pass, okay? You get a pass. You are not nearly as bad as half the other fucks around here. And you are really bad. Like objectively horrible. But everybody else is worse. That's fucking saying something. Jesus. He's a child. Psychos. I am okay with these people dying. They deserve it, okay? Like, I will feel vindicated if whatever comes out of this game is like, no, this is actually because everybody here, that's why they're doing it, because they're just trash. Yeah, no, I believe, okay, good. Good. Oh, is that man that made fun of Eve right now suffering slowly, painfully dying? Good. Like, shit! Never hated some random Man D before in my life. Anyway, Man D sounds really awful, to be fair. Oh, God. Ugh.
Even the doctor who tended to my burns tried to look away from my face.
I mean,
of course, a monster like me couldn't be accepted by my parents, who had lived a normal life until now.
Even your parents? Oh, hell no! My God, my boy must have been possessed by death at that orphanage.
That's not true. Father, Mother, she did nothing wrong. I'm still the same Eve from before. I remember Grandpa who passed away and everything I did with him.
And why does your burn look like that? You won't fool me by calling me mother, you demon! So is it like the color or the shape or something about the burn itself? Interesting. Okay. A little tidbit into that, but the fact that his parents abandoned him! What the fuck? This is what I'm saying. All these people deserve to die horrible deaths. Horrible deaths. They deserve it. There's a few people that don't. Okay? Like, poor Lucas actually, despite the fact that he stabs a bunch of fucking people, you know, I'm actually on your side now. I am a lot more on your side about stabbing all these motherfuckers than I was before. I'm just saying, don't hurt Hugo, though, because still don't know where I still like Hugo right now, so, like, whatever, but
I was called an abomination and left in the Lycra's field all alone. If it weren't for one of the staff from my orphanage who just happened to pass by, I would have died from my wounds.
What the fuck? That's like the one... I don't like kids, and I find this the worst. What the fuck?
But I was still treated like a monster at the orphanage. The kids around me bullied me, saying I was Death's puppet. They threw rocks at me each time they saw me. I'd step out into town, but none of the adults spoke to me or even bothered to look at me. The adults at the orphanage treated me well, but...
Poor thing. What did he do to deserve this? Yes, even his parents disowned him, poor soul. We're his last hope, so let's protect him as best we can. Okay, alright. So, like, these orphanage people aren't trash. So, like, you get to die peacefully and go on to a better life. Maybe. Their
kindness came from pity.
Hey! Still, at least they're being nice to you.
The more of their kindness I accepted, the more crushed I felt by helplessness.
A few months passed, but we're gonna find out what happened in those next few months the next time. But, like, Jesus! Good fucking God! You know, I mean, I just didn't expect... I don't know. I mean, like, yes, he's got a burn scar, whatever. I just didn't expect they were gonna go to the route of, he is a horrible, disfigured monster! What the shit? What the fuck? I should have expected it. I should have expected it from this game, but I didn't. Oh my god. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.